What if I told you that you could have a heart attack and not even know it? It sounds impossible, right? We've all seen the movies. The dramatic scene where someone suddenly clutches their chest, gasps for air, and collapses. That's what a heart attack looks like. But in reality, for millions of people, it looks nothing like that at all. In fact, according to medical research, an astonishing 20 to 45% of all heart attacks are silent. That means they occur with symptoms so mild or unconventional that they are completely missed. The person might think it's just indigestion, fatigue, or a pulled muscle. They go on with their day, unaware that a life-threatening event is taking place inside their own chest. This is a silent myocardial infarction, or SMI, and its silence is what makes it so incredibly dangerous. In this video, we are going to pull back the curtain on this hidden killer. I'm going to explain exactly what a silent heart attack is, why it's just as damaging as a classic one, and most importantly, I'm going to detail the 6 subtle warning signs that are too often ignored. Understanding these signs isn't just interesting, it's critical. This is information that could genuinely save your life, or the life of someone you love. So please, pay close attention. Before we dive into the signs, it's crucial to understand why this topic is so urgent. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, heart disease is the #1 cause of death in the United States. A heart attack happens every 40 seconds. These aren't just statistics, they are parents, partners, and friends. Now here's the most dangerous part of a silent heart attack. Because the person doesn't realize what's happening, they don't seek immediate medical help. The golden rule in cardiology is time is muscle. The longer a coronary artery is blocked, the more heart muscle dies. That damage is permanent. When someone has a classic, painful heart attack, they usually get to an emergency room. Doctors can perform procedures to open the blocked artery, saving as much of the heart muscle as possible. But with a silent heart attack, that window of opportunity closes without anyone even knowing it was open. The person is left with a scarred, weakened area of their heart. This significantly increases their risk for major problems down the road, including life-threatening arrhythmias, debilitating heart failure, stroke, and an even greater risk of another potentially fatal heart attack in the future. This is why recognizing these subtle signs is not optional, it's a life-saving skill. So what exactly is a heart attack? Whether it's silent or a full-blown Hollywood production, the underlying mechanism is the same. Think of your heart as a hard-working muscle. And like any muscle, it needs a constant supply of oxygen-rich blood to function. This blood is delivered through a network of small arteries that wrap around the heart, called the coronary arteries. You can think of them as the heart's personal fuel lines or pipes. Over time, due to factors like high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and smoking, these pipes can start to get clogged with a waxy substance called plaque. This process is called atherosclerosis. Now, a heart attack typically happens when one of these plaques becomes unstable and ruptures. Your body's natural response is to rush to the scene and form a blood clot to heal the rupture. But in the narrow confines of a coronary artery, this life-saving response turns deadly. The clot acts like a plug, completely blocking the pipe and cutting off blood flow to the section of heart muscle it supplies. Without oxygen, the heart muscle cells begin to suffocate and die. That is a heart attack. The only difference between a classic and a silent one is the alarm system. In a classic heart attack, the alarm is blaring. In a silent one, the alarm is broken or the signal is too quiet to notice, but the damage is happening all the same. So before we get to the silent signs, let's quickly review what that blaring alarm, a classic textbook heart attack, feels like. It's important to know these so you can see the contrast. The most common symptoms are, first, intense chest discomfort. This isn't always a sharp pain. It can feel like an immense pressure, squeezing, or a heavy weight in the center of the chest that lasts for more than a few minutes. Second, radiating pain. The discomfort can spread from the chest to other areas of the upper body, like the shoulders, arms, especially the left arm, back, neck, or jaw. Third, shortness of breath. This can occur with or without chest discomfort. Fourth, a cold sweat. Breaking out in a cold, clammy sweat for no apparent reason. Fifth, nausea or vomiting. Feeling sick to your stomach is a common sign. Sixth, lightheadedness, a sudden feeling of dizziness or that you might faint. And seventh, a sense of impending doom, an overwhelming feeling of anxiety that something is terribly wrong. If you or anyone you know experiences these, call for emergency medical services immediately. But what happens when the alarm system is faulty? What are the whispers that your body sends instead of a shout? Here are the 6 subtle signs of a silent heart attack that are too often dangerously ignored. Number 1. Unexplained fatigue. This isn't just feeling a little tired after a long day. This is a profound, bone-deep exhaustion that comes on suddenly. You might feel too tired to do simple tasks that were easy yesterday, like making the bed or walking to the mailbox. It's easy to dismiss this. You might think, I just didn't sleep well, or I'm just stressed from work. Women in particular often report this symptom in the days or weeks leading up to a heart attack. When should you be concerned? When the fatigue is overwhelming, doesn't get better with rest, and is out of proportion to your recent activity. If you feel an anchor of exhaustion has suddenly been tied to you for no reason, pay attention. Number 2. Mild chest discomfort. Notice I said discomfort, not pain. A silent heart attack often doesn't cause crushing pain. Instead, it might feel like a nagging pressure, an ache, or a feeling of fullness in the center of the chest. It might come and go. This is the most commonly misinterpreted sign. People immediately think it's heartburn, acid reflux, or indigestion. They might take an antacid, and when the feeling temporarily subsides, they assume that's what it was. When should you be concerned? If you have a persistent mild pressure or ache in the center of your chest, especially if you have other risk factors for heart disease, don't just write it off as something you ate. Number 3. Unexplained sweating. If you're not in a hot room and you haven't been exercising, but you suddenly find yourself breaking out in a cold, clammy sweat, that is a major red flag. This is your body's nervous system going into overdrive in response to the stress of the heart attack. It's easy to dismiss this, especially for women who might assume it's a hot flash related to menopause. When should you be concerned? Anytime you are sweating profusely without a clear environmental or physical reason. If it's accompanied by any other symptom on this list like fatigue or nausea, it becomes even more suspicious. Number 4. Shortness of breath. Feeling winded is another sign that's incredibly easy to explain away. You might think, I'm just getting older, or I'm a little out of shape. But the key here is a change from your baseline. If you suddenly get out of breath doing something simple that didn't tire you last week, like carrying groceries or walking up a single flight of stairs, your heart may be struggling to pump blood effectively to the rest of your body, including your lungs. In a silent heart attack, this shortness of breath can happen without any chest pain at all. When should you be concerned? When the breathlessness is new and disproportionate to the level of effort. Number 5. Nausea or stomach discomfort. Because the nerves to the heart and the upper stomach are closely related, a heart problem can sometimes present as a stomach problem. You might feel nauseous or have a general ache in your upper abdomen. This is especially common in women and is often mistaken for the flu, indigestion, or even food poisoning. When should you be concerned? If the nausea is accompanied by lightheadedness, shortness of breath, or unexplained sweating. The combination of these symptoms is a much stronger indicator than any single one alone. And number 6. Discomfort in other parts of the body. A silent heart attack can cause a vague, dull ache in areas you wouldn't normally associate with your heart. This can include your neck, jaw, back, particularly between the shoulder blades, or either shoulder. It's easy to dismiss this as sleeping in a funny position or a simple muscle strain from yard work. When should you be concerned? If you have a persistent ache in these areas that doesn't feel like a typical muscle pull and isn't relieved by stretching or rest. So who is most at risk for having one of these dangerously subtle events? The risk factors for a silent heart attack are the same as for a classic one: smoking, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, a family history of heart disease, obesity, and a sedentary lifestyle. But there is one condition that deserves a special mention: diabetes. Diabetes dramatically increases the risk of a silent heart attack. Over time, high blood sugar can damage nerves throughout the body, a condition called diabetic neuropathy. Most people are familiar with this causing numbness in the feet, but it can also affect the nerves that supply the heart. Essentially, diabetes can anesthetize the heart. It damages the very wiring that is supposed to send pain signals to the brain during a heart attack. As a result, a person with diabetes may feel very little or nothing at all while significant damage is being done to their heart. If you have diabetes, you must be extra vigilant about these other, more subtle signs, and being vigilant is key, because what a lot of people don't know, and what cutting-edge science is now proving, is that the root cause of these terrifying cardiovascular events often starts in a place we've been told to ignore. It's not always about the heart itself, but about the crucial organ that regulates your blood pressure: your kidneys. In fact, a breakthrough study from the University of Virginia finally identified the #1 signal your body sends you right before a stroke or heart attack. and it's directly linked to your kidney function. I've arranged for you to see a free private presentation that explains this discovery in detail. It also reveals how an ancient nutrient, once called the nectar of gods, is now being used to help support healthy blood pressure by targeting this root cause in the kidneys. If you are at all concerned about high blood pressure or any of the silent signs we've discussed, this is a must-watch. To see it, just point your phone's camera at the QR code on the screen now. It will open the video right up. If you're on a computer or tablet, you can also click the very first link in the pinned comment right below the video. Please take a moment to do this now. This information is too important to miss. Recognizing the signs is one half of the battle. The other half is prevention. Fortunately, you have more power than you think. First, know your numbers. Regularly check your blood pressure, your cholesterol levels, and your blood sugar. These are the key metrics of your cardiovascular health. Knowledge is power. Second, attack the biggest lifestyle risks. If you smoke, quitting is the single most effective thing you can do for your heart. If you are overweight, even a modest weight loss of 5 to 10% can dramatically lower your blood pressure and improve your cholesterol. Third, move your body. Aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise like brisk walking every week. That's just 30 minutes 5 days a week. Exercise strengthens your heart, improves circulation, and helps control nearly every risk factor. Fourth, eat for your heart. You might ask, what's the best diet? A low-fat diet or the Mediterranean diet? A landmark study published in the prestigious journal The Lancet in 2022 provided a clear answer. They studied over 1,000 people who already had heart disease. After 7 years, the group on the Mediterranean diet, rich in healthy fats from olive oil, nuts and fish, along with fruits, vegetables and whole grains, had significantly fewer heart attacks and strokes than the group on a standard low-fat diet. The quality of your food matters. Finally, and this is crucial, don't skip your medical checkups. A simple EKG or electrocardiogram can often show the telltale signs of a previous silent heart attack that has left a scar on the heart. If you have risk factors, your doctor might suggest more advanced tests, like a coronary calcium scan or a CT angiogram, which can directly see the plaque in your arteries. In the end, it comes down to this. Your body sends signals. A silent heart attack whispers instead of shouts, but it's still sending a critical message. Learning to listen to these whispers, the unexplained fatigue, the mild discomfort, the sudden shortness of breath, is a skill that can save your life. Don't ever feel embarrassed to seek help. It is always better to go to the emergency room and be told it was just a case of bad indigestion than it is to stay home and risk irreversible damage to your heart. If this video made you think of someone, a parent, a friend, a partner, especially someone with diabetes or other risk factors, please do them a favor and share it with them right now. You truly never know whose life you might save. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more essential life-saving health information. Stay safe and listen to your body.